All right, we're back for Artist to Art. I have my sign here with Amy Goodchild. We're going to wrap up here. Instagram has just been crazy today. So we're coming back on here. This is part 6, I think. So parts the first 5 parts you won't be able to view anywhere. It was just as it happened, it happened. And here we are. Here we are in this strange world. I'm not sure what happened.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
I also don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. It's just like, and Instagram won't let me like save it when it does that thing, when it
Oh
does those things.
no.
I know.
It's kind of
So
devastating, to be honest.
I know it is, isn't it? It is. I just like, I really like, right?
I'll just say everything again.
Just say everything again.
Exactly how I did.
Just
It's not
say
gonna happen.
right, right. Just say the flock because it changes our perceptions once we know about flock. Once we know about the geometry, we're gonna look through
Yeah.
quickly and the interactions that people
hmm
had and the geometries. And the, would you like to say anything? Any quick words?
About this, no.
Right. We've looked through so much. We've understood so much. And some things are just lost to time itself.
Yeah. It's kind of beautiful, I guess. Just let it go.
Right. In its own way, it's like all of these ideas, what we've seen today has been lost to time itself. We can all invite our friends to see today. Like it must be something to really deal with that when you have to take down an installation.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, especially like I was just saying, there it is so difficult to capture these things in photo or video format. Partly because of the just literally like the quality of the light and like working with LEDs, like it's very difficult to capture that in a video or a still image. But also like the groupness of it and the interaction, like I can't capture that in a photo, and especially flock, like the images of flock, they're just there's like circles on a screen, like you can't get across what it was like for people to interact with that and then have another group of dots show up on the screen and realize like that's another human on the other end of this connection. So yeah, it's often like not capturable, basically, like the kind of work that I do.
Yeah,
And
it's
this is similar.
difficult to show that
Yes, exactly.
because then it's like another person like sitting in an iPad, but like what are they doing? What are they
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I've thought about especially with Flock and like other similar projects, like filming people using it and like having like video footage of somebody holding the phone and interacting with it, which is it's doable, and it's something that I probably will do, but I feel like it ends up feeling a bit like an advert for it, like footage of someone using an app or a website is kind of not the same as using it or experiencing the thing that I was creating.
I guess it becomes something onto itself, really,
Yes. Yeah,
such as
exactly.
like building something versus experiencing it. How to really capture what it is like to experience something.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. Yeah, and the space tunnel as well. The space tunnel is like completely gone now as well. Just since we're talking about things being lost to the sands of time, it's the same LEDs in the dome as were in the space tunnel. So the space tunnel was taken apart completely, and the shade cloth that I used to attach the LEDs to is now part of my camp at Nowhere. So we have a shade structure that we build, and part of the shade on that structure is from the space tunnel, and you can actually see like the dots, or the holes rather, in the shade cloth where the LEDs were held on using zip ties. So there's little like rows of dots that kind of show like the that something's been and gone here, which I yeah, it's nice. Oh yeah, so this is the one that we hadn't got to yet. So this is another generative work, but also like bringing in animation as well. So each one of these forms is made up of some number of points, and the number of points is determined randomly or using Perlin noise, but within certain boundaries that I set. So within like, I don't know, 4 and 50 or something like that. And then each of those points has a certain number of connections. So maybe one point is going to connect to 2 other points, and then another point is going to connect to 4 other points. And then each of those points looks at all of the other points and picks out which are the ones that are closest to it, to connect to. And it kind of creates these like constellation-y looking shapes. And with these, I became so interested in the way that they look like things, in the way that like looking at clouds like has that effect where you see something that is actually abstract and isn't a picture of a cat or whatever, but it looks like a cat because partly I think because our brains are designed to recognize cats and other things. So you see these forms which are actually abstract, and you see things within them.
Have you ever plugged that into like AI where it like figures tries to like figure out like it's a cat eye or something like that? Or
Yeah,
like
I've thought about it actually. I think there could be something with I don't know what it's called, the Google Draw AI, where you can draw certain shapes like an umbrella or a cake, or like, you know, those kind of like forms that like a child would recognize in a drawing. Um, and the AI will recognize what it is. So yeah, I think yeah, it's a case of like working out how to hook it up, you know. But yeah, there's definitely something there that could be done.
interesting.
Also, this one is Blend, which is a new project which isn't out yet. So it's going to be released soon, and I'm kind of yeah still trying to figure out exactly how it's going to be released. But it's similar to Flock in that it is multi-user, so people will be able to go to this website and draw on it like you see happening in this video. So you can move the mouse around, and it will create these gradienty, wavy, like smeary, beautiful forms. And the way that it works is essentially in the code, everything that you draw is rotating as you draw it. And it was inspired, actually, it was a friend of mine had the idea. And to be honest, he had the idea, but I'm not even sure if what I ended up making is what he was trying to tell me to make. As often happens with these kind of things, where I set out to do one thing and it turns into something else. But the inspiration that I caught onto was that it was like those paintings where the canvas is being spun as you're painting on it. So like people are dropping paint onto a spinning canvas, and that's what I was trying to recreate in the code. And then this one, so when it's online, you'll be able to draw on it, but you'll be matched up with other people. So 2 people will be drawing on the same space at the same time.
Well, and then colors are kind of random, or is it like the color palettes?
No, yeah, so there's a selection of different color palettes. So I think currently there's like 4 or 5, and it fades from one color to another within each of those options. So you can choose like which you want to use, and then maybe your partner will be using the same one, or they'll be using a different one, and you can kind of see how the colors play off each other.
And do you just make these for fun? Is this like, or are you like trying to like, what are you, what's
What
your
am I
like
doing?
goal in this? I don't know. I don't know. Like, are
Yeah. What is my goal? I guess like I enjoy making it. I can't like I would say like I can't stop. Like I don't want to stop. I just want to make stuff all of the time. Like all I want to do is create stuff and look at it and have other people look at it and make stuff that I think is cool, and make stuff that other people will think is cool, and make stuff that people will enjoy, um, and make stuff that people will find worthwhile in a meaningful way. But finding that meaning through enjoyment and like genuine engagement, rather than through like some grand concept that I have like predefined. It's always through like the experience should be yeah, engaging to people so that they will find it meaningful, and that's all I want to do. And also to then get feedback and like hear from people, or observe them doing it, and know that I've like created those spaces or those installations for people.
So cool. How do you find the inspiration to wake up and make these things? I've heard this quite a bit. Question before was just like, how do you, what would be your like, I'm inspired by, or like, this might be a piece of advice for other people who are having difficulty getting themselves up and like creating really cool shit?
Hmm. I guess you just have to genuinely think that it's going to be cool. Like I wouldn't make it if I didn't think that. Like that, and that I think that's at the core of everything that keeps me going is like I think it's going to be really cool. Like if I can make this happen, if I can get it working, if I can like the thought will be something like what would happen if I did this, and would people respond to it in the way that I think, or would they respond to it in a completely different way, and like how would it look if I like shone this like this way, or like if I made these things move like this, it's that thing that really drives me, like thinking I think it's going to be cool if I do this. And I use the word cool a lot, and I it's kind of a catch-all word in want of a better word, but I mean like engaging and interesting and beautiful and all of those things. And I don't think it's shallow to want to make art for those reasons, to just because you think it's going to be cool. I think that's legit.
That's awesome. That's cool stuff.
Thank you.
I'm all about it. So that's kind of like you wake up and you're like, I want to make something cool. Like, how do you keep so focused on like the same project to like really get it to completion that you're like, it's
Mhm.
so cool and like keep going? Or like, are there a lot of projects that you like have like halfway done or?
I guess there's some, yeah, like I mean I definitely have things that have like fallen by the wayside, and projects I didn't complete. um but with like major projects like the space tunnel and the dome, like I knew from the start that like I was going to get this done. Even I mean with the dome, like I had to because it was for my master's, so I was like I know this is going to happen. But with the space tunnel, it was such an unknown thing, really. Like the whole thing was like I just literally I was coming out of having no experience to do it. um but yeah, I don't know. I just really thought it would be cool. I wanted it to exist. I make art that I want. Like if somebody else made it, I'd also be happy. I just want it to exist in the world. So that is kind of a driving force, I guess. But I also use a lot of like organizational things. Like I think I'm quite organized in my work now, which I did not used to be. Like I don't think like people who knew me when I was a teenager would not have described me as organized at all. Even like in my 20s, I was not an organized person. And then I think having something to apply it to has made me organized. And I use a lot of like checklists and to-do lists and Gantt charts and yeah, stuff like that. Or like my post-it notes behind me. It's yeah, I have to stay organized.
What
Is
is
this,
going
oh, it's
on
a video.
here?
Yeah, so
Oh
this
yeah,
is
it's
the
starting to
space tunnel.
appear.
It's the video started behind your face. I couldn't see it at first. Yeah, but
Cool.
it's the space tunnel. So it's somebody, or it's me, drawing a rainbow in the space tunnel. Because one of the things when you were drawing on the screen, like you could choose what color you wanted to draw in, or you could pick a rainbow pen, and as you drew it, like faded from color to color.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's literally happening in real time. Like I think I'm like crouching behind the desk there and like drawing on the screen, and it's drawing in real time for the sake of the
I like
video.
how it like illuminates if you're standing there, it would like illuminate you.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the dome. So that's me again in it. Because like as I've mentioned, this stuff is really hard to capture in photo and video. And one thing that I haven't mentioned that's hard about it is that I don't want to ruin the experience of the people that are inside it by like shoving a camera in their face. So a lot of the best photos and videos that I do have of these projects are of me, like which makes them kind of like I'm demonstrating it. But especially at festivals like Nowhere and Nest and stuff like that, which run on Burning Man principles, there's a real expectation that you will not take photos of people unless you have asked. So I can't come into the space and just start taking photos like secretively. I will always come into the space and say, hey, like, does anyone mind if I take photos? And then people's behavior has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is, yeah, it's just an unavoidable problem. I mean, sometimes I will start taking photos and then tell people afterwards, but it's like dark and people are coming and going, everything's confusing and loud, so I don't want to risk like filming somebody and then not being able to get a hold of them to check that it was okay, you know. And I just don't want to make people feel uncomfortable in the space at all, so I don't tend to do that. But yeah, I'm demonstrating how the lights work, and this is the person that I mentioned before who spent ages in the dome, kind of dancing with the space and interacting with the lights, and yeah, creating like.
Oh, it's ducking when we.
Sorry.
The sound ducks when we talk.
The what? Sorry.
Oh no, we just have to listen to it in order for it to keep playing, for it to play music.
Oh, okay. That's so weird. I'll just sit in silence then. Yeah. Well, you get the idea. Yeah, it's somebody interacting. The little gap that you can see at the kind of in the center of the frame at the top, there's like a gap in the fabric. That is where the connect is. So it's like pointing down into the space. So as this person's kind of moving around, yeah, the lights are reacting to her movement.
That's that's cool. There you go. You did it.
It is cool. I did it. Yeah.
I think that's all we've got from today.
Okay.
So, thank you for putting up with all the technical difficulties. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for your patience.
Where can everybody find you? Where can they find you online,
Yeah.
in person?
So I have a yeah, not my address is
No.
so no, I have a yeah, I have a website, amygoodchild.com. So I post like finished projects there, and I also blog there. So I talk a lot about like my behind the scenes process. And there's links to there on there to like my YouTube channel as well. And then on Instagram, it's Amy_Goodchild, because somebody has stolen the Amy Goodchild account. But yeah, it's Amy_Goodchild on Instagram, and then on Twitter, I'm Amy Goodchild. Yeah, and then the Dome has its own website at whenindome.com, and Space Tunnel is spacetunnel.co.uk. So yeah, there's loads of places basically. But Instagram is the most updated, and yeah, best place to follow me. Everything that I make goes on Instagram. So.
Cool. So I'm Aaron Jack. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Amy, for being on here. Really appreciate it. And if you'd like to leave our audience with any words of inspiration, ideas, thoughts, feelings, it's up to you.
I guess okay. So my I guess like what the words that I always say to myself is just do your best. That's kind of my like I want to say mantra, but like I'm not really sure if that's the right word. But like it's something that I keep close to myself. That idea of like do your best, and that's all anyone can expect of you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there
Thank you.
anything else you'd like to add? Let them know.
No, that's good. Thank you.
That's all you need to know. Do your best.
Yeah, do your best. It's enough.
All right.
Make cool stuff. That's the other thing.
All right. Thursday, I'll be at Freedom Tapestry Project. Next Tuesday, I'll be back at Artist to Art, I think. Yeah, usually every Tuesdays. There might be a Tuesday off. But anyhow, I'll be back next Tuesday. I'll be back Thursday, Freedom Tapestry Project. And thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody watching. Make sure to follow us, add, like, comment after it gets posted. And I'll see you next time.